Set? Ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to be.
Let's
I
go.
don't know what we're talking about, but yeah.
Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Wheel. We're actually here in, if you've been watching, you know where we're at. We're in Pacific Cycling and Triathlon Cafe with the owner, Julie Goodbye. Welcome to the show, Julie. How are you doing? Doing good? Okay. Ooh. So, I'm fascinated by the surroundings, the store. Since the first time coming in, tell us a little bit about yourself, Julie.
Well, let's see. We've owned the store for 11 years now. We used to be on Pacific Street, and everybody always asks us, how'd you get the name? So we were down on Pacific Street off of 95 in Stanford. After 5 years, we decided to move up here. There's more traffic, and as a bike shop, you need traffic in order to survive. So we did not immediately open the cafe. After about a year of being here, we opened the cafe, and the cafe's closed right now. But we hopefully will open it in a little bit. We just have to have the bandwidth and to have COVID sort of go away. So here's a fun fact. Fun fact. We used to be called Pacific Swim Bike Run because when I started to open, we generally opened as a tri-shop, but then we realized that that was sort of closing ourselves into just one market. So we changed the name to Pacific Cycling and Triathlon. And we actually now sell uphill skis.
Uphill skis.
So we're not changing the name. But we do sell uphill skis. Skimo. We have a skimo team. And skimo is where you travel uphill on your skis with skins on the bottom and then you ski down. It's a specific type of ski. We rent them. We are doing great with that. It's very good off-season endurance training. Some people don't really actually call it the off-season, but yeah.
It's like you're constantly pivoting or changing it.
Yeah, well, we have to, along with any business.
Okay, so now Lori came. So what type of bike is that the Lori got?
That's a Harley Chibaka. It's
Harley?
Harley. P-A-R-L-E. Chibaka. It's deemed a gravel bike, and we like gravel bikes because they give you versatility to be able to put a large tire on and a small tire and ride it as a road bike. Harley's a brand up in Peabody, Mass. They started with only custom, and then they sort of mainstreamed. They do have a mainstream line to the that's much more affordable. When I say more affordable, I mean their bikes were $20,000 and up. So now they're more mainstream. Let's just put it that way. And they do beautiful designs, and you can custom paint, and people really like them, and we like them. We actually have a rental fleet that we rent our Chibacos on.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
I love the color. It's like.
Yeah, that's a cool color. Well, there's a lot of cool colors, so you can do any color you want.
But you can customize it.
Yeah, that's why it's nice too.
So how did you get into? You were a triathlete. Still a triathlete.
I'm not still.
No.
Okay, I mean, not to say I'll never do another triathlon. So when we first opened the store, there was no triathlon stores in the area, and my youngest kid was just going into kindergarten, and I was, I had my own businesses before, so I knew I wanted to start my own business, and my husband is an intricate part in the business now and has been. And we decided to open a store. I had been in retail pretty much my whole life, and I have some manufacturing background. So I knew how to sell, I knew how to buy, and I knew the workings of how to run a store. So we opened the store, and that's not to say that it was easy. just because I had that experience by any means.
So there obviously comes with some challenge, because I seen the other location downtown. I was like, oh, this is where the first store was, Pacific.
Yes.
And even standing on Pacific, I didn't put the two together. Oh, that's why it's named Pacific.
Yeah. No one really knows that unless they've been our customer for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great space. It was the old Harley Davidson building. It was huge. We had a training facility, showers, bathrooms. It was beautiful. We just didn't need the space, and it was also not in a prime location for traffic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a much better move for us.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah, when I first stopped and I was dropping off a package at FedEx, and it was like a kid in the candy store. It's a bike shop here, and it's got coffee.
Yeah.
Wow, wait a second. This is different. There's something about this. The whole concept just kind of drew me in, and then after coming in and seeing the events that you would have and meeting you and the team here, so there's something special here.
We try and give back to the community. People, when we have our meetings with the staff, it's sort of like we're a resource center for the community. If you want to come in and talk about triathlons or cycling, we're more than happy to do that.
Yeah,
because it is daunting.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I was sitting here once and a customer had come in. It's not like staged. That's not like natural, just organic stuff. And there's this intense, just a conversation just going, and he's firing away questions, and you're like, you got him at the ready answering them, and it's like this could go on like all day. It always seems like low key.
It's low key because we're low key.
Mm-hmm.
Just from a personal standpoint, I think that when you're in business for 11 years, you've been through a lot, and there's not that much that can rattle me anymore. We've been, especially after you've been through a pandemic.
Oh.
And that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
That is tough. Right now the supply chain is undoubtedly tight, and but we were allowed to be open during the pandemic because we were essential, and that was stressful.
Because you were essential.
Yes, we were essential, so we didn't have to close, which was a godsend. So I'm not saying that it was definitely stressful, because we didn't know if one of us was going to end up in the hospital. We didn't know if one of us was going to end up sick. We are very vigilant on how we control the people that come in. The doors are locked. We prefer to be open by appointment. We prefer for you to call, the customers to call by appointment, so that we know that we can spend time with you as well, because we know it's daunting, and we know that it takes a lot of questions for a bike. To purchase a bike, or to purchase even shorts, you need to try them on. So we prefer that, and we can also clean after every person comes in. So that's what we prefer. I think it's worked out well. I don't know if that's going to change. It might change when the numbers have gone completely away and we can just let people walk in and out freely. But for us, it works. Our customers certainly understand it. They're happy that they get the attention.
It's a good feeling coming into a retail establishment, and you don't get a sense that it's just a transaction. I just want to get the bike, talk to you later, bye. There's this. I was visiting once, and this young man was in the store, and you were wrapping up with his mom, and then it was just like it shifted from, okay, let me close out the sale, thank you very much. You honed in on, it's like, is he? He was like this savant.
He was like 13 and he knew every single brand, or even 12. And I was like, wow, do you want a job here? It was like, you're more educated than like many people that I know. Yeah, no, he was an anomaly.
Yeah.
He was a cute kid, and I love when kids are passionate about cycling.
But you picked up on that. It's not like, okay, this is part of a strategy. Like you read that in the book. Pay attention to customers. Okay, let me apply this one now. No, this is just naturally what you do.
Well, I think most of us, because that's what we do, this is the industry, can pick up on someone that knows that much about it. And that's how we can gauge our customers as well. That's why we like that sort of by appointment, because we then allow, we can gauge them first, and then we can figure out how much time we need to spend with the person.
Yeah, it is. You guys are a great resource. Like I seen the logo, I'm like, yo, the salsa is I don't know, what is that? The ring? What is that called?
A chain ring?
A chain ring.
Right.
The salsa is a chain ring on the cafe. I was like, oh, where did you get that? Oh, we gotta go to salsa logo tournament. Like logo what?
Oh, right.
It's like, so there's so much information that comes out of just like a visit.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of information. It's a lot. I can talk to cows come home on a variety of different subjects, including coffee, including you name it.
Mm-hmm. And you're always like, okay, this is on the cusp of what's hot, what's coming out, what's current. Not just for the sake of, okay, let's just add this to the mix. Okay, this is something that I think our customers would benefit from having here. And everyone seems to have that same sort of like vibe here.
We're not. We're very honest. Because there are trends that happen and there are trends that go. If you decide in the cycling world if it's worth your money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always a pleasure coming in here. You have a great relationship with the vendors. What would you attribute that to?
That we have great relationships with our customers
and the vendors. It's like,
well, from a buyer standpoint, since I do most of the buying, I won't do business with people that I can't talk to and relate to. Otherwise, it's not worth it for us as a whole, because then we'll have communication links down the line. And when you're selling bikes and you need information, you need to be able to get in touch with your vendors. And most of my vendors are very nice. They're ready and willing to answer all the questions. We really don't work with vendors that are not nice and support their local bike shops. There's a lot of vendors out there that don't care. And that's sad. In a world where a bike brand might need you, you don't feel valued as a distributor. So we don't work with any of those. And that's probably why our relationships are the way they are.
Yeah, it's a tight relationship. I mean, we can talk about, there's so many different components that you provide for your customers. If they're going to a race, there's this whole shipping drop off that you.
Right.
So walk us through that, because I heard that, like, wow, this is like.
So we work with Tri-Bike Transport that picks up and also drops off after a race. So if you want to go to a race in Miami, they'll drop your bike here. They will pick it up and they will drop it off. So that is seamless. It's seamless for the customer because they just have to do a transaction through transport. They drop it off and they can just purchase everything here. They can tune their bike here after or before. And that is nice. And we have all the gear and everything to go with it.
And do they have to supply the case for shipping, or?
No, they don't. No, they put it in a van.
Oh.
That's the nice thing about Tri-Bike Transport is it never goes in a case, which means there's a huge amount of benefits for that because your bike's not taken apart. Your numbers are never touched. Your seat height's never your seat height's never touched, because we all know, well, if you're a cyclist, you all know that if your seat height goes down or your handlebars are, changed, that can really throw you off. So they don't do anything. They just pick up the bike, stick it in a van, and drive it down to Florida or wherever the race is. So
Wow.
that's a niche that they have.
So this is the case. Throw it in the case.
Yep.
And, So Lori, where would folks find you guys online?
It's Pacific SBR.
Mm-hmm.
Pacific SBR, like swim, bike, run. It's a little bit of a throw off from the name, but people do get it, and it is short. So, and that originates from Pacific Swim, Bike, Run, when the name was Pacific Swim, Bike, Run. So it's Pacific SBR, S as in swim, B as in bike, R as in run.
Cool.
So we do not sell on our website. We tried that a few years ago. It just wasn't worth it, especially now. We really need to talk to someone. First of all, we're not allowed to sell bikes online. You have to call anyway. So from a business standpoint, it didn't make sense. And then in terms of clothing and everything else, we're not REI. We're not going to throw up all our inventory on there. You can come in, you can try it on, you can call us, we'll ship it. But yeah.
You've really found your niche and honing in on the customers. It's a winning recipe for success.
Well, I think as a business, you have to sort of, you need to know what you're going after and what you're not going after. You can't be all over the place. So I know we're not online. I'm not going to try and be online, at least at this moment, at least for the next couple of years. Otherwise, you sort of you just lose your focus on everything else. So this way we can focus when somebody calls and says, do you have this bike? We can say yes or no, and then we can talk to them and spend the 10 minutes and do that, as opposed to having an entire division of shipping and things like that.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. I certainly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. I sat here the whole time with the headphones on. I don't know why.